Happy Friday. It's the 27th of June, and this is your daily market outlook with myself, Liam, and I'll be covering major pairs today as usual. Guys, I know I'm another amazing week on these daily market outlooks, and hopefully, you guys on here have been getting a lot of value and enjoying obviously these videos, which I'm getting really good feedback from as always and have done since I started this. So now, I just want to say appreciate every single one of you guys on here who's tuning in, who's watching these videos, who's giving feedback, who's subscribed, who's liked the videos, who comments on the videos. I see it and I do really, really appreciate it. So let's get straight into the charts. But before we do, just want to quickly go over this. As you guys should know already, this content on the channel is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor and nothing shared in these videos should be considered financial investment or trading advice. Trading and investing involves risk, and you should always conduct your own research before making any financial decisions. Any past performances discussed on these videos does not guarantee future results, and understand that you are responsible for your own financial decisions. So before we carry on, you guys can see this is my for my Instagram at the bottom. If we are not connected, please make sure that you go and connect with myself on social media. There is quite a few fake accounts, of course, because that's where the world that we live in. So just make sure that you're following this exact one. And then let's get straight into the charts. This one's probably going to be a bit quicker today, just because it is Friday and also it is, nothing really going to be probably going on today from what I can see. So, let's get straight into today's news. And as you guys can see, we barely have any news today. We have obviously Canadian dollar and also Euro US, also USD, US dollar news at 2:30. So we've got core PCE price index, which is at 2:30, and obviously the Canadian dollar one at 2:30 as well. So yeah, I think that's the only thing that we really have to keep an eye on going into today. Make sure that you guys, are using Forex Factory or are using the whatever it is that you guys use to check the news before you do jump on to the charts. So before we get into the charts, just quickly, I want to make sure that we are connected, as I've just said. If you want to stay connected and, obviously, see a little bit more into my lifestyle, if you go to my bio, you'll be able to see that I've got my free Telegram group, which is just here. This is the Instagram, my Instagram, which I mentioned. And if you want to work on a one-to-one basis with me, this is the form that you guys need to fill out. So make sure that you guys go and check this section out in my YouTube. Now, getting straight into the dollar, as we always do, let's have a look at what's going on. We've gone over pretty much the higher time frames, including a weekly, this week. So going into, today, we've had a lot of moves that we've needed. We can kind of just chill out, I hope anyway. I'm talking, for myself. But if you look at this, where we're currently at, we're still in this daily range. From this daily higher low to this daily higher high. This is the last daily higher low, lower low. See, I'm half asleep. This is the last daily lower high, not higher high, and daily lower low. This was the previous daily lower low, and this is where we broke. So, I'm expecting that bearishness to carry on, which we've been calling out for quite some time. We've been saying it all week. Let me just quickly have a look at the weekly. We talked during this week about the fact, we have a lot of these lows which are classed as liquidity, and that's where we was wanting to see attack. And we have got that. We have attacked all of these lows. And now if you look on the left-hand side on the weekly, you'll be able to see that we have got quite a lot of imbalance that we can attack as well. So that is my first thought going into next week is, can we see ourselves getting down here? We'll find out. We'll figure it out as we obviously analyze the charts. And then looking at the overall trend anyway, we've been very bearish from the dollar perspective. So again, we're just going to play what we see. And what we see is this is our range from this lower high to this lower low. Now, of course, said it every single week, every single session, sorry, to this week. If you look at this, we have a lot of imbalance. So eventually, if you guys obviously know, and we're going about this quite a lot, once you have that daily range, if you have some, imbalances that are all like, let's say you got some imbalances, inside that range, what will most likely happen is Let me just make this an imbalance. If you have imbalances, what will naturally happen is the market will want to retrace um, during like a little trend on the 4 hour and a 1 hour, and eventually it will want to, then carry on to go and create that leg. I always say, and if you guys know me, you'll understand this, the market is looking to do two things. The two things are to seek liquidity and to also rebalance itself. So if you can see, we've got a lot of imbalance here. So eventually I do think we're going to get that correction phase like this into, the top part of it. If we do a Fibonacci, I always look around the 786 and 886 area, but as a minimum, I want to see 50%, 50% or above. So anywhere above the 50% is where I want to see this correction phase, come up to, and then carry on to go and create that new daily low. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys watching this. Now going into that, of course, if we was to analyze where we think the market could come into, it would be this large wick here. This large wick could be where we would want to see that market come into. Now, of course, all we're going to do is we're not worried about that until we get that change of trend. That change of trend on the 4 hour. Now, looking at the dollar, yesterday we had this 1 hour area here which we called out, which if you guys want to go back and watch the YouTube from yesterday's, which is Thursday the 26th, you'll be able to notice that I called this supply area out because that's my 1 hour lower high and this is my 1 hour lower low. And as you guys can see, perfect reaction from there, and then we melted away, but we didn't officially break this low. We didn't have a candle closure of this low. So that could be telling us, obviously we just need to be patient. Going into the 4 hour, what we can see is this is still my range from here, because if I'm following the 4 hour trend, you can see that the only pullback that we had was here, down into here. So for me, my 4 hour range is there. We do have this imbalance. So we can see that we're stalling right now. We're consolidating. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 4 hour candles going sideways as we speak. So of course, what we got to understand is, we've got to be patient. Like, we've mitigated the supply. We're either obviously going to just carry on and melt, creating a new low, and then we can just participate again. Or what's going to happen is, in the 1 hour, we're going to get a change of trend. We're going to get a change of trend, and then we can look to potentially buy the dollar up into this supply area. Now, again, same scenario. Once we get to this supply area, we're either going to get that change of trend, that reaction to carry on down. And if we don't, then you'll see that this could potentially just carry on, and we could be, long in the dollar to fill in the imbalance on the daily, and then we make a decision from this daily lower high. So is this going to be where we create that new lower low on the daily? So again, two scenarios are there for you guys to see. We're either going to carry on downwards from this supply, which is what we've got to worry about. If we break this 1 hour, this is our next supply that we've got to worry about on the 4. If we break this supply, we should be looking for the longs, of course, up into this area of daily supply. So that's that for the dollar. Just quickly on the 1 hour. Just quickly on the 1 hour, you guys can see already just from looking at this, this is very, very consolidating. Very consolidating. So, it's Friday. It's up to you guys, obviously, what you do. You're in control of your decisions, but just be aware of how consolidating that is. Yes, I know that obviously this is our 1 hour lower high and it's our 1 hour lower low. We have mitigated this area, so supply is still in control. I agree, 1 hour supply is still in control. So yes, if I was expecting the market to carry on downwards, I would expect two scenarios. Two scenarios would be, we come into this area here and we do this. We come up into the supply and then we carry on. Or the next scenario would be we come tap into this main 1 hour supply. And why? Because if you look above, if we just did this, you can see that we still have a tiny bit of imbalance from this wick to here. We still have a tiny bit of imbalance left here. So, and then what have we created here? We've created multiple highs, a little trend line liquidity, which means what we can expect if this doesn't happen, then of course we can predict that the market might punch above, fill in this imbalance, take out these highs, take out early sellers, tap into the supply, and then we get that movement away to go and break this this low here. So let's keep an eye on that. And then obviously if it's the opposite, which I've already explained, if we break above this 1 hour, if we break above this 1 hour, then of course we're just going to be looking at long in the dollar up into this 4-hour supply and then make a decision. So pretty simple and easy to understand. Let's head over now to your USD. So this is your USD, which hit me out at break even just quickly, by the way, yesterday. It was literally, I don't know, very close. This was only a risk reward of 2.26, so nothing major. But yeah, obviously I got hit out on our break even. We'll cover that in just 1 second. Let's just quickly go over the time frames as we always do. So you can see that obviously the weekly candle is very bullish. So I'm expecting next week to potentially come and fill in this imbalance. If I look at the daily, what can I see? Same scenario where the daily is extremely bullish. We've got our daily higher low and our daily higher high, which is currently here. This is our current daily higher high. So, of course, naturally, when we look at this scenario, we have got imbalance below, and we do expect the market to potentially retrace eventually to then go and create that new higher high if it was to carry on bullish. But as of right now, where we're currently at, we're quite far away from that. So we just got to play, what we see. And that's where we can understand the 4-hour. Now, if I look at the 4-hour, what can I notice? Well, the 4-hour for me, this is my last lower high, higher low, and this is my last 4-hour and daily higher high. So of course, from a 4-hour perspective, could we see this start coming down on the 1 hour and then this have a change of trend to carry on up? That's one scenario because we do have a lot of imbalance below here. But as you guys can see, if we're playing off the 1 hour right now, we're still in that 1 hour range. We're still in that 1 hour range, which is from this demand candle. We can actually now refine it to this area here where the imbalance was. And as you guys can see, we are punching above. So we've just broken this high. So what I'd expect the market to do now is simple. Can we see, I'm going to put it from the body of this. Can we see this area be our next 1 hour demand to take this high? And why do I want to see this high taken? Well, simple as well. We're very close to that top, but you can see that we've got a trend line liquidity that is going on. A lot of trend line liquidity is being formed, which means that, we're obviously going to be building up something here in order to take it. So let's just see what happens with this. That's what I'm expecting your USD to do. But if it doesn't do this, what can I expect? Well, what I can expect the market to do is either if we do break, then of course, same scenario, we can look for the shorts into this demand area here. So pretty simple to understand. But yeah, let's keep an eye on that. We've got some imbalance above here as well. Nice institutional candle. We've broken this 15-minute here. 15 minutes. So again, this will be a nice area potential for potential longs. GU was a beauty of a trade, but there's a 2.25. I could have refined this to a bit shorter and got like nearly a 1 to 3, but I didn't do that. But yeah, as you guys can see, this area, demand area that we had yesterday was a beauty, and we did go and break well, didn't break it, but pardon me, we actually did take out. We did take out these highs. These late nights need to stop. I could say that for sure. But yeah. For me, this is still my range. I'll cover this in a second. But before we do move on, let's go to the higher time frames. So same scenario, we look at the weekly. We talked heavily about the GU weekly coming, filling in these imbalances, then, having a correction, impulse, correction, filling in that imbalance, impulse, correction, filling in that imbalance, impulse, correction, coming down, filling in this imbalance, impulse. So the same scenario, what we're going to be waiting for is we've had that correction phase like we do here, and then we have that impulse. Do we have imbalance? Yes. So next week, could we expect GU to be bearish to a minimum of this candle and then go and get that impulse again? So that's my main thought, just as we do here, correction, and then we have that impulse. So looking at the daily time frame, what can we see? Well, from a daily time frame, we still have this as our daily higher low. And this is our daily higher high. So we have some imbalance. If I just get rid of this, you can see that we have quite a lot of imbalance below here, which I do expect the market to retrace eventually and fill in that imbalance, as we know. But as of right now, we've got to focus on the 4 hour. And as you guys can probably see, the 4 hour, we still have exactly identical to EU. This was our 4 hour pullback to create that higher low, to then go and create that higher high. So for me, what I'm waiting for eventually is this will be after the 1 hour, this is going to be our next zone. So let's just quickly go to the 1, and then we can obviously talk about the 4 hour at the same time. So if we look at where we're at, this area was my higher low, this was my higher high. So what am I expecting the market to do? Well, truthfully, I'm still bullish until we get anything otherwise. As of right now, if I go down to the 30 or 15, let me see the 15. There's nothing really clear in here as to why we're reacting. But yeah, I'm still bullish. I've got no zones as we speak. Of course, if the dollar carries on down and, we expect the other correlated pairs to carry on upwards, this would be my 1 hour demand area. So same scenario with EU, but I'm just going to reiterate that EU does look cleaner. EU looks cleaner. But that's what I'd probably see potentially happening if we get, of course, like this. I won't be selling until we break this low. Until we break these lows, then I'll sell. And I'll be looking to sell into this imbalance, into this demand area. Again, same as EU, pretty simple to understand. AU, nope. Nope. AU, let's go to where we're currently at. If we look at the weekly, just quickly, if you look at the weekly, we had same as GU correction, and then we've had this movement up. We've had this imbalance to fill in, this institutional candle to fill in some demand areas here. I'm expecting bullishness, man. We've got some imbalance to fill up here as well. So from a weekly perspective, I'm expecting bullishness, even if we are in this supply. Now, as you guys can see, it's just not as clear. Very choppy, not really as nice as we would like. So we're stalling at this supply. But I'm not interested, just to be truthful, unless if the dollar is selling, then of course NU should be bullish. If the dollar is going to be obviously bullish, then we expect NU to be bearish. So let's just be patient. There's nothing really clear for me, and that's why I'm not talking about AU and NU just now, because I would literally just be lying to say that I'm interested in this, but I'm not. I need to see a significant low or high on this. USD CAD. Let's just quickly go to the weekly as we have been doing. And as you guys can see, we are in this demand area here for the weekly, which I talked about. But if you look at the trend, you can see that we have lower low, lower high, filled in this imbalance, lower low, and now we should be creating a new lower high to go and create a new lower low. So weekly is not as nice as the others, but as you can see, we are trending quite heavily on that. Sorry, one sec. On that downtrend. We are trending quite heavily in that downtrend. So as you guys can see, we have this daily supply, which we talked about all week. We've met that daily supply, and we now finally had, obviously, yesterday, that movement down. We were stalling. If we look at this, 1, 2, 3 candles. Well, it's pretty much here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. We're just kind of going sideways, and now we've had this institutional move. So where am I expecting the market to come into? Well, just truthfully, from a daily perspective, if we just break it down, this candle here, what I'm covering right now, with the imbalances is where I expect the market as a minimum to come into for a daily supply. So if we drop to the 4, you can see that this is my 4-hour supply here. So either way, you know, the 4-hour is what I like. I want to see the market come into, you know, this 4-hour supply and then that be the next leg down. So with that being said, of course, what is the 1-hour doing? So that is where I want to see the 4-hour. That is my 4-hour. Let me just make this a bit bigger. No, let's get rid of that actually. That is my 4-hour area. This is my daily supply. So if I drop to the 1, what's going on? Well, as you guys can see, the 1-hour is very much consolidated. I'm not really interested at all in doing anything with USD CAD as we speak. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for either this, and then I can look to pay potentially long into that. Or I'm going to wait and see if, you know, we get this, and then I can do this. Simple, very simple. Patience. Patience is king. Now, USD CHF, if I just go to the weekly, and have a look what's going on, you'll be able to notice that we've got a lot of bearish movement. We did fill in this imbalance here, and that's why we're getting that, you know, bearishness from the weekly time frame. As you guys can see, we came up, filled in this imbalance here, and now we're very, very bearish. If we go to the daily is looking pretty clean, where you can see your, you know, clear structure that's going on. You can see lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So, you know, you can obviously see yourself, this would be my daily supply eventually, where I would like to see the market come into to fill in this imbalance, which we should get. We always get a correction phase eventually. But again, let's see what happens. The 4-hour is still bearish. So I don't need to worry about this daily supply just right now, because if you look at the 4, this is my 4-hour lower high, this is my 4-hour lower low. Now, as you can see, this is the area in which I want to see the market react from. We've not quite reached that 4-hour supply just right now, but I'd see a punch up and then obviously carry on. We did come very close. If you look here, we did come extremely close. So we do still have a 4-hour imbalance here. But if we look at the 1-hour, what can we see? Well, we can see on the 1-hour, that of course we have a 1-hour supply and we have this 4-hour supply. So for me, let's just get rid of this a set. Ideally, I would have liked to seen this punch above, fill in this imbalance here, even potentially to this 1-hour, and then go and create that leg. But as of right now, we've had this candle here. So I'm just going to be patient with USD CHF. I'm just going to be very, very patient. But we do have this 4-hour supply imbalance on 1-hour, and we do also have these highs that have been created here. So let's wait and see. Could this be inducement to get early sellers in? Then we punch above, and then we make that move. That's what I would be potentially looking for, unless we break this low. If we break this low, let's say we break this low, then of course pull back, look for a sell opportunity to carry this on downwards. So yeah, man, we've got some exciting setups coming into next week. Let's just finish off on USD Japanese yen. Ooh. USD Japanese yen, what is going on? So as you guys can currently see, it's been extremely choppy. We did mitigate this daily supply area here, which you can see, and then we've had that bearishness away. So that is my first thought looking at this. But if I look at the 4, what can I see? Well, on the 4-hour, pardon me, it's pretty simple. On the 4-hour, it's pretty simple. Inside of my daily supply, I have the extreme supply and I have this supply here. So all I'm saying is either the market's going to carry on from here downwards, or it's going to break above this, and then our next area will be this supply. So carry on. Why? Well, imbalance below. This is our lower high. This is our lower low. This is the extreme supply. So that's why I want to see that happen. Now, of course, in order for it to reach this, we have to break this high, and that would be a 1 hour trend. So if I look at the 1 hour, you'll be able to notice that this is still my 1 hour. This is still my 1 hour range from this here to this low here. So, you know, we have mitigated that supply. We can actually refine that now to this 1 hour supply here. And we are having a nice movement away. If you look at this, you can see that, of course, we was creating, you know, that uptrend that was going on here. And now we've broken that low here. Where did we come into this supply, where this imbalance is? Then we had this here, and now we've come back into this. So could we see this happen? So what I'm trying to say is, let me just point this out, is this supply level here has been mitigated by these two candles. So 1 hour supply. And now we didn't break that low, but this has come back up to fill in the imbalance into this supply. So this could be the catapult. If I probably go to the 15 or 30, it'd probably be a bit clearer. Yeah, ish. But you can see anyway, this would be the catapult to obviously potentially go and carry this downwards. So I'll be keeping an eye out on that as well. Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out on that. But yeah, pretty simple to understand. You guys can probably see why my supply areas are my supply areas. We're in this one right now. We do break above it, would be this. But yeah, man, that is pretty much it for this week. I just want to say I appreciate every single person on this YouTube channel. I appreciate every single person that's tuning into the videos. And as always, guys, I hope you have an amazing weekend. We will catch up on Monday. You know, give me some feedback in regards to this week. You know, drop me a message on Instagram or whatever it may be. If it's in the comment section below, you know, feel free to obviously just let me know how you found me being back this week on YouTube and if you've enjoyed it. But other than that, I appreciate you all as always. Have an amazing rest of your week and weekend, and we will catch up on Monday. God bless.